What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a standard deck centered around the Ariados from Celestial Storm. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton, and let's do more cool stuff for you guys. And also, if you are new to the channel, please feel free to check out the TTM Discord that will be linked in the description below. Here at TTM, we do not just have TCG content, we also have draft format content, and we really explore almost all facets of the Pokemon game apart from VGC, but we are working on that, and our Discord reflects that, where we have channels for TCG, Smogon, and draft format. So yeah, if any of that interests you, please let me know or please feel free to check out the Discord below. And also, I do have to just kind of put a quick disclaimer. Still fighting that sinus infection. Unfortunately, it is not going away anytime soon, so I do apologize if my voice starts sounding like extra raspy, or if I have to pause very obviously at different points throughout the video. That's just because I don't want to like cough into the microphone, as I really don't think that that would be particularly something that you guys would want to listen to. So I do apologize for that in advance. And also, this is going to be a shorter video, as I am going to the doctor later today to finally get like a Z-Pack or something like that to knock this sinus infection out once and for all. But anyway, as for the question of the day, based on Celestial Storm, what do you guys think is the strongest non-GX or Prism card from this set? Well, and basically, like, I don't mean like what do you think is the strongest non-GX or what is the strongest Prism card. I mean, what is the strongest non-GX, non-Prism card from this set? In my opinion, honestly, I'm all hyped up on Shrine of Punishments right now, or Shrine of Punishment, sorry. I really think that that is such a good card. It gives a lot of decks that don't rely on GXs much at all the ability to compete with GX heavy decks. Just the extra damage counters each turn, I mean, those add up. Those really do, especially against decks like Zoroark, where the 210 HP is really what makes them as good. Well, okay, obviously Zoroark is a lot better than all that, but I mean, the 210 HP is just kind of like the final nail in the coffin for it. This is why this card is so ridiculously good, but it also sits on the bench and trades quite frequently. So if you have Shrine of Punishment and Zoroark is in for like 3-4 turns, well, that's like 6 and 8 damage counters on it. Like, all of a sudden that Zoroark is in range of your not quite as strong attacks, or your potential 2-hit KOs turn into Okos after a while of Shrine of Punishment. So I just think that that is such a good card. I'm very hyped about it, and I'm really excited to see what types of decks are able to utilize it. I was able to utilize it last week in an Yveltal Break deck, which I really did love, and I thought that that was a ton of fun. But yeah, that is the card that I think is the best, or the strongest non-GX, non-Prism card from the set. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What are your guys' opinions on the strongest non-GX or non-Prism Star card in this set? Love to hear what you guys have to say. But anyway, on to the deck. Like I said, this is centered around Ariados from Celestial Storm, and really the whole premise of this deck is to just kill things with reactive poison. Be a one prize attacker that uses reactive poison for a single energy, does 20 base, and then 50 more for each special condition affecting your opponent's Pokemon. Well, naturally, this pairs very well with the Salazzle from Guardians Rising. With the Hot Poison ability, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may leave your opponent's active Pokemon burned and poisoned. And with the new burn mechanics, suddenly, okay, so Ariados hits for 120. Well, your opponent is also burned and poisoned. Burn automatically gives them that extra 20 damage, and then poison gives them that 10. So suddenly you're immediately turning into 150 damage, and then if you add a choice band on top of that, you're hitting for 180 going into your opponent's turn. That is a magic, well, not as magic of a number anymore, but that was kind of a magic number, and I mean, it still is a very good, I mean, if you told me I could hit for 180 for a single energy, I would take that every single time that you could ever ask. Like, do you want to hit for 180 damage for a single energy? Yes, please. You're not going to get the knockout. That's okay. I'll be able to live. But yeah, so that's really what the whole deck is centered around. Just streaming Ariados, streaming Salazzle, trying to get your opponent poisoned and burned every single turn. Very, very important. And also is kind of a cool way to take on some of the stronger decks. And also, even though it's a grass type, I mean, things like Lapras are weak to it and other things like that. So, I mean, it's not like, it's not the greatest typing, but I mean, it can catch some surprise KOs like against Lycanroc or Lapras, like I said. So I mean, it's solid enough to where I wanted to try it out. In my testing, I actually had quite a bit of fun with it. I was like, wow, jumbled my words, to where I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do this deck. But as for the numbers of Pokemon, we are running a single copy of Oranguru, just to have that on the bench, continually draw cards, as this deck really doesn't, well, obviously this deck doesn't run Zoroark, so you don't have the draw support there. Really, Oranguru is just there to be a non-GX that can just sit there, draw you cards and stuff like that. It will never attack, because you have to attach just 3 Grass Energy, which you do not want to do. So yeah, Oranguru just kind of sits there and draws you extra cards. 3/3 of Salandit and Salazzle. You don't want to run a 4/4. That's why I'm running a couple Devolution Spray in there, so that you can just reuse the Salandits that are on the bench. Normally you want to have 2, 3 at the absolute most, but I would actually kind of discourage against 3. 2 I found is the good number for Salandit, especially when you have Devolution Spray. So just having those things on the bench, able to evolve them, and then 3 of them allows us to have them when we need them and be able to get them when we want them. Next up, we have a single copy of Pheromosa-GX, and I was actually very, it's kind of torn about how I felt about this card at first, because I was like, wait, you're running a GX in a deck that already struggles for bench space, and then also really just wants to attach to Ariados every single turn because it's going to get knocked out. So I was very skeptical about the Pheromosa at first, but I decided to test it, and I actually really like what it can bring to the deck. So first of all, Fast Raid. You don't really use it all that often, but I actually had a couple donks when I was testing this deck where I was able to get Pheromosa and energy, and my opponent just had a Remoraid out, so I was able to knock that thing out in 1 hit immediately. So that was actually pretty cool. So I mean, that immediately I was like, okay, maybe this has some merit. But also, Beauty GX is able to take that big 1-hit knockout to finish off a game where you might be struggling. You might be like, okay, my Ariados can't quite take the knockouts. Like, I'm down, my opponent's down to a single prize. Ariados won't be able to take that big 1-hit knockout to win me the game. Well, for just 2 energy, if your opponent is down to a single prize or 2 prizes, Pheromosa can hit for 200 or even 250 damage. So that is very, very strong, very, very strong indeed, and just kind of takes that big 1-hit knockout where Ariados isn't necessarily able to do that. So just a nice little tech option, give you other ways to take prizes other than just simply relying on Ariados and Ariados alone. Then, as for the main attacker, 4/4, because I mean this thing only has 70 HP. There are basics that have that much HP, so non-GX basics that have that much HP. So really just want to run the max number of these because Ariados is going to go down, and it is going to go down often. 2 Lele, because Lele into Brigette is the ideal start for this deck. And yeah, this is not post-rotation. I wanted to do pre-rotation, current standard, just because Ariados would not do well post-rotation. It really would not. And so I definitely wanted to try a pre-rotation deck just to see if this deck can work as well as I would hope that it would. 2 Devolution Spray to not take up extra spots on the bench with Salandits, just be able to turn like 1 Salandit into essentially like 2 or 3, depending on how many times I devolve it. Just be able to constantly be like, okay, replay Salazzle, that type of thing. 2 Field Blower, because Garbodor is very, very annoying. Choice Band's not so much, but Garbodor will just make this deck auto lose. So being able to turn off Garbodor is very important. For recursion, we have a Rescue Stretcher and a Super Rod. One is for the energy, and the other is just to recur the Pokemon. I mean, our Pokemon get knocked out and discarded enough to where we definitely want the 2 methods of recursion that we do have in this deck. 4/4 of Timer Ball and Ultra Ball. Not sure how I feel about Timer Ball. I mean, I'm trying it out in this deck. I really am trying it out. Ultra Ball, just 4 of them guaranteed. Yeah, like you want to do that. But Timer Ball, I'm very, very torn on. But I figure that, okay, this is a deck that easily can use it. So screw it. Let's try out 4 of them, see how it works. And I mean, it's worked so far, but at the same time, there is a real possibility that those 4 cards are just dead cards the entire game, because like you can play them down and just get two tails the entire time. So very, very iffy card. I'm trying it out, seeing how it goes. It's done okay enough so far that I haven't really just like tried to tear it out of the screen and rip it up. But we'll see how that goes in this live. And then as for these supporters, got my standard 4-3-3 of Cynthia and Sycamore, just what I'm comfortable with. It's what I like, and it seems to be working well enough anyway. 3 Guzma, just because, I mean, I like the Guzma. I like 3 Guzma. I'm kind of leaning towards 4 in this deck just because of the selective nature of the KOs that you want. But I don't know. 3 has gotten me what I want, and then 2 Brigette, because Lele into Brigette is a strong start. 4 Choice Bands to boost the damage output as much as we can, because, I mean, that Choice Band is crucial for netting the KOs that we want. 2 Float Stone for free retreat, particularly on like Oranguru and Salazzle, because otherwise, actually not Salazzle so much as, well, I guess Salandit. Never mind, it's Oranguru. It's mainly Oranguru, and so that we don't have to discard the energy. Don't know where my mind went on that one. And then 7 Grass Energy, kind of a low number because Ariados just attacks for a single energy anyway, and at most we'll be attaching 2 to either a Lele or a Pheromosa. But yeah, that is the deck. Sorry I rambled for so long. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against, oh boy, this looks like a Buzzwole deck. If it's not a Buzzwole deck, I will be kind of surprised. We luckily do get to flip the coin, and we do get to go first, so that is very solid for us. And we actually start off with some, yeah, we start off with a pretty solid hand, assuming there's no, like, Deancy, strong energy shenanigans that go on, because otherwise that would just kind of, you know, put me in a very bad spot. But what I can do... Okay, so I have the Ultra Ball. We see the Zorua as well, so, I mean, obviously this is a Zoroark Buzzwole deck, or at least I'm thinking this is. It could also be Zoroark, Lycanroc, but I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of Buzzwole lately, and not as much Lycanroc, so, I mean, even though Zoroark's everywhere, I'm still thinking that this is going to be... No, I don't want Cynthia. I want Brigette. Still thinking that this is going to be Buzzwole, and, yeah, have Buzzwole in it, but I could be wrong. But let's go ahead and Brigette grab... Yeah, let's grab another Salandit and another Spinarak, and let's just call it... Yeah, play those down, see if we can get anything good. We get some solid stuff, which I might be able to work with next turn, but yeah, let's just call it a turn. That was a very solid turn 1 for us. We were able to get 2 Spinarak, 2 Salandit, and an Oranguru down, so this is... a very good start. Let's see what my opponent decides to nest ball for, and yeah, it is the Buzzwole. I mean, I just had a feeling, like, I've been seeing that... The decks that I've been seeing over and over lately have just been, like, Gardevoir and Buzzwole. For whatever reason, those 2 decks have just been spammed like crazy, and of course, Zoroark's everywhere. But my opponent is going to Ultra Ball. Okay, please don't have the Deancy, because that would put me in a very, very bad spot. Grabs the Lele. Okay, so maybe my opponent doesn't play the Deancy. I mean, like... I can definitely see it fit in, because, I mean, it literally is just a one-of tech in, like, a Zoroark deck, but I don't know. I don't see Deancy... you know what? No, that's a one-of, like I said, so I can definitely see it being used. And my opponent does decide to Lele for a Lily. Are they going to get the full 8 cards, or do they have 1 card in their hand that they just can't use? Looks like they have 1 card in their hand that they cannot use as of yet, but they will get 8 cards off of that. Very, very strong. Get another Zorua, and we're gonna see, ooh, Fighting Fury Belt. Gonna have to try to knock that off when I can. But Jet Punch comes out, hits my Spinarak, that's fine, goes on to the Salandit, and okay, so what I'm gonna do, Ultra Ball, get rid of the Grass Energy and the Float Stone to grab a Salazzle, because, I mean, I do have 4 Ariados in the deck. Just want to start going for those immediately, try to get everything set up. We see, okay, so we get those. Can we get an Ariados? I'm Oranguruing now because I want to maximize my chances of getting it. Ooh, here we go. So let's see, can we hit it? No, we unfortunately cannot, but I am going to Field Blower, get rid of the Fighting Fury Belt and the Escape Board, and alright, here we go. Please, please, please be heads. Be 1 heads, okay. That's all I needed, was just the single heads. That's kind of why I'm iffy about Timer Ball, because, I mean, it's so good in the right situation, but, I mean, there are times where literally you can go a full game and your Timer Balls will just do absolutely nothing. I'm going to devolve my Salandit now, because even though it can... Actually, not quite yet. But either way, get some damage onto the Buzzwole. He might try to target down my Spinarak. Unfortunately, the burn does end, so I can't, like, try to count on that for anything, but I mean, he does have 10 HP left. If the Fighting Fury Belt comes down, then that's annoying, but in this case, he might get knocked out. Actually, yeah, he will get knocked out coming back into my turn. And then if he retreats the Buzzwole out, I can always just, like, Spider Trap it back in and poison it, and then it will get knocked out going back into his turn. So that Buzzwole with just the 10 HP left is kind of a sitting duck for me to be able to just knock that thing out very quickly. And my opponent does end me, that's fine. I will be getting 6 cards. I only have 4 now, and I mean, I had a hand that I could use, but I can guarantee that I'm probably going to get something. Yeah, I mean, this is great. Get another Ariados, get 2 Salazzle, get another Spinarak, and my opponent is going to evolve into Zoroark and then Scoop. So that was kind of interesting right there. But I mean, either way, we do take the win. My opponent could have... Actually, no, I don't think he necessarily would have been able to knock out my Ariados that turn unless he got a Diancie down. But I mean, again, he already showed that he doesn't have the Diancie or wasn't gonna play it. So yeah, I mean, are able to take that win against Buzzwole Zoroark. Honestly, was not expecting to even be in a game against that. But well, I mean, like, be in the game. I wasn't expecting to have any even resemblance of a shot at winning it. But regardless, we take those, and let's go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Aster 2019. How funny would that be if this is actually Aster J? Aster, if this is you, please let me know, but otherwise I'm just going to assume that it might not necessarily be, because I feel like your name would actually be Aster J. But we do win the coin flip once again, and we will get to go first, unfortunately, after a mulligan. So, yeah, not the best type of start. But at the same time, we will get a fresh hand, and if those are like 2 Spinarak and a Salandit, I would absolutely love my hand, but as it stands, that's actually hilarious. That's really amazing. 2 Spinarak and a Salandit, that's... Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And I even have a Brigette, so I don't even have to play a Lele. So the question is, how do I want to go about this first turn? Because what I can do, I can Brigette, get like an Oranguru, a Salandit, or, nah, I'm not going to bother with that. Like, I could have, and then just kind of bet on the fact that I could get something. But I think I'll just go ahead and grab a Salandit, another Salandit, and then Lele for a draw supporter, because I really don't like relying on Oranguru for the ability to get me... I don't like relying on it for the ability to get me a supporter, because I mean, 3 cards just is not enough. And plus, this way I can put my opponent down to 6. I mean, this wasn't like the main draw behind what I was going for, but I mean, this definitely can help. And, okay, maybe I should have gone for the Oranguru. But as it stands, let's go ahead and try to bait out a Field Blower early by playing the Float Stone onto the Lele. And then let's just call it a turn right there. So my opponent is clearly playing a Zoroark deck. I'm wondering what all he is deciding to pair with it. Because, I mean, we saw the water, we saw lightning, I believe. And so, I mean, that could be any number of things, in all honesty. No, I have Wi-Fi. Don't you do this. But no, bad. Connect to the Wi-Fi. I'm connected to it on my phone. I know I got it. Okay, so should be hopefully okay. If my opponent, like, if my opponent's turn goes, then okay, we're back to looking for Wi-Fi, not just, I don't even know. Okay, we're good. Alright. But, is this like Zoroark Glaceon? Because, I mean, with the water type sleeves, I'm thinking that it might be. But my opponent does just grab a Lele. If he wants to end me, that would actually be greatly appreciated. But otherwise, it's not the end of the world. Because what I can do is knock out a Zorua for sure. Well, that is all dependent on me hitting a Timer Ball, hitting 1 heads with the Timer Ball to grab a Salazzle. And then, yeah, evolving and then knocking out the Zorua. So let's see what my opponent ends up playing down with the Brigette, as that will let us see what type of deck he is running. And okay, we see Froakie. So this is actually a lot better than Zoroark, Glaceon, because Greninja GX is actually weak to grass, so I can definitely play that to my advantage. And oh, luckily I hit heads off of that. That's clutch. That is very clutch. So what I'm gonna do is, let's go ahead and Brigette. Just go ahead and get the Spinarak down. Unfortunately, the Oranguru is prized, so that is not an option. But at the same time, I can still just get my board set up a little bit better. Yes, I would like to burn and poison the Zorua, as that's how I'm going to get the sufficient damage to knock it out. Play the energy onto the Spinarak, and then let's go ahead and devolve my Salazzle so that I have that for next turn. And boom, reactive poison. We will be able to knock out the Zorua and take a prize, hopefully. There we go. And yeah, so we go up a prize. I'm gonna kind of want to wait to Guzma up a Greninja GX. If I say Greninja Break multiple times, I apologize. But I think I'm gonna want to wait to bring up a Greninja GX before I really Guzma those guys up, because just bringing up Froakies, like, I can take single prizes off of, like, the Tapu Koko, off of the Zorua. The Greninja GXs, I can take 2 prizes with 1 shot, even without a choice band. So that is going to be something that I have to keep in mind. Just have to play patiently, like, let my opponent think that he's doing well by getting a Greninja GX up, but that is really exactly what I want at this point. Like, I want him to get up a Greninja GX, so that way I can just go ahead and Guzma that thing up and knock it out. I'm sorry if I'm clearing my voice. Like I said in the deck preview, my sinuses are still just killing me at this point. It's getting better, but I mean, again, it's not quite there yet. And actually, my opponent just attacks, leaves himself with no hand. You know what? I'm just going to knock out this Koko because it's the only thing that has energy on it. And I just had a voice crack right there, so that was very nice. But let's go ahead and play the choice band onto the Spinarak and then Sycamore away my hand, see if I can get another Ariados or something. I do not. But let's go ahead and devolve the Salazzle once again. Yeah, because I really feel like I'm going to need... Definitely going to need a couple more, and the extra ability to... Or in the extra longevity is not that important right now, because I need to be able to evolve them when I have to. And I'm able to knock out the Koko. My opponent has no cards. He has no energy on the field at all. He just has a Zoroark, and... I mean, he can trade, but... Okay, he gets the Greninja GX. That is... Please knock out something. Okay, he knocks out my Salandit. That is great for me, because what this will allow me to do is bring up the Greninja GX and knock it out. And of course, the single prize he got was a... Of course that was a DCE, but oh well, nothing we can do. So what I'm going to do is go into my Lele, pray that I'm able to draw into an Ariados or some way to get one, which I do. And now I have the situation of, do I want to... How do I want to do this? Do I want to damage the Zoroark, or do I just want to take the knockout on the Greninja? I think that my play is to go ahead and... Yeah, I think my play is to just go ahead and take out that Greninja and let my Ariados go down. Or do I want to take out the Lele? Because I have the choice band right now. I actually think the play is going to be to take out the Lele, because the Greninja I can knock out without a choice band. Lele I need the choice band for, so I think that's actually exactly what I'm gonna do. And then just pray that I can draw into a Salandit or something later. But yeah, let's go ahead and Guzma up the Lele, which will be able to knock it out with my Ariados. And then... This is going to be tricky. This is actually going to be very tricky. because Zoroark will still be able to get him draw support. Or, not like a draw supporter, but it will still be able to get him more cards per turn, whereas I do not have that because my Oranguru is not there. So I really would like to have another Salandit down, and if I did, I think I might have a shot at winning this, but for the time being, I just have to take my knockout on the Tapu Lele, pray that I'm able to get another Salandit set up somehow, and then bring up the Greninja GX and knock that thing out in one hit. So I get another Ariados. My Oranguru is deep in the prizes, apparently. And my opponent does bring up the Zoroark. That's to be expected. He's going to be able to knock me out. He gets a Frogadier. What's he going to target down? He's targeting down the Salazzle. That's a good play because if you... And another Zoroark. So my opponent, luckily, is not trading at all because, I mean, I feel like they have just such a good enough... They have good enough stuff to where they're able to, or they don't want to, trade to get rid of that stuff. They'd rather just play it down. So that's actually working in my favor. But he does knock out the Ariados. And I need a Salandit right now. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Cynthia and the Salazzle to grab... Let's grab another Ariados. Because I have the Rescue Stretcher and there is 5 Grass Energy, so I need to get that Grass Energy. Like, that is very, very important. But I also need to try to get a Salandle. I need to get a Salandle. I need to get a Salandit at some point, and unfortunately, I do not draw into those. So what I'm going to do for this coming turn, let's go ahead and waste the Timer Balls because I don't need them and I don't want to draw into them if my opponent does end me. So let's go ahead and play those Timer Balls. Here's where I get all the heads when I really don't need it at all. But let's hope. Let's go ahead and Spider Trap, bring up his Greninja, as that's the thing that I'm going to really want to target down. That's how I'm going to win the game, by knocking out Greninja with a super effective hit. So yeah, luckily he stays asleep. I was kind of trying to bank on that. I mean, I didn't want to bank on that, but unfortunately that's kind of what I have to do in this situation because I really don't have a draw supporter. I don't want to give him cards with N, and now my opponent's going to start trading, so let's hope that he doesn't get a Guzma, because if my opponent's just able to like Guzma out of this, then I'm in a very bad spot. But if the Greninja stays asleep coming into my turn, then I'm pretty sure that I might just be able to win. Yeah, if Greninja stays asleep, then I think I'll just win. He does Aqua Patch. He's going to trade again. Wondering... Gets rid of a Water Energy, that's fine. That's just another thing that he can Aqua Patch if he needs to. And then, yeah, if Greninja stays asleep, then I'll just win by knocking it out with Ariados, which will actually be pretty huge. Plays the Water Energy. He did not get anything. Please stay asleep. Oh my gosh, we win. So I now win because the Greninja stayed asleep, and Reactive Poison is going to do sufficient damage to knock that thing out. What I would have had to continue doing is just, like, continually Spider Trapped to bring that thing up, get poison on it, get it in range of, like, just a single status condition Reactive Poison in order to try to knock it out. But luckily it did stay asleep, so we are able to win that game. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to end it there, guys. I am sorry that this was a shorter live, just not feeling good, and I also have to run to the doctor today, so sorry about that, but regardless, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.